Welcome back. You're watching India Tonight. I'm Nivedna Prabhu. Let's also put into perspective to you that from metros to the mountains, financial inclusion is breaking new ground. At 11,500 feet, Nippon India Mutual Fund has become, in fact, the first asset manager to open a branch in Leh Ladakh. Ankur Mishra brings us this report.
At 11,500 feet, where oxygen is less and the air is thin, the sound and claps for punching of a mutual fund application is no small feat. Nippon India Mutual Fund has become the first asset manager to open a branch in Leh Ladakh. In a region where army personnel account for around 25% of the population, the company aims to close the gap and bring capital market access to an area with limited financial infrastructure.
During a board meeting that I suggested to Sandeep, that look, why don't we go to border areas, try and include those areas into financial inclusion with the rest of the country, and that will also will be a good way of integrating those people with the rest of the country.
Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh together account for just 10,844 crore rupees of India's 74.80 lakh crore rupee mutual fund assets. That is less than 0.14% of the industry. Yet mutual fund penetration in the region is improving. The average assets under management grew 24% in 1 year from 8,703 crores in June 2024 to 10,825 crores in June 2025. To build on this growth and address the challenges of financial literacy and access, Nippon India launched a dedicated helpline and conducted an investor awareness program for 300 army personnel on the day of the branch opening.
Nippon India Mutual Fund has been, going into very retail markets. We are very proud to say 100% of the districts in India, we have investors. 97% of the pin codes of India, we have investors. So this has been a part of our DNA, and the board has always been guiding us. But the discussion with General Malik was, now let's go to the border areas, now give financial security to people who are giving security to the country.
India's market participation is expanding fast with over 19 crore demat accounts, 9.19 crore systematic investment plans and SIP assets reaching 15.30 lakh crore rupees as of June 2025. Ladakh now joins this journey with local leaders urging more financial institutions to step in. From the rooftop of India, a new chapter in financialization begins. Integrating Ladakh into the country's growing investment landscape is another step towards helping every Indian rise with India. With video journalists Mahesh Katkam and Amit Rathod in Leh, Ankur Mishra, ET Now.
All right, let's shift our focus because they say travel is the only thing you buy that makes you richer on the gram. But for Gen Z and younger millennials, it seems you might have to borrow a little before you buy that happiness. And honestly, who's counting when the backdrop is Santorini, Bali, or even a quick Goa escape for the gram? In fact, a new Paisabazaar survey has revealed a fascinating shift in how Indians, especially younger, experience-hungry ones, are funding their wanderlust. Now, gone are the days of patiently saving for months before booking tickets, like how all of us used to. Not that I'm saying that all of us are old, but now over a quarter of holidayers are happily signing up for personal loans to pack their bags and take off. In fact, in the first half of 2025, 27% of respondents admitted to borrowing for travel. That's up from 21% just 2 years ago. And the trend isn't just in metro hubs. A whopping 71% of these loans come from Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. So what's driving this? Is it the fear of missing out on adventures while you're young, or the irresistible pull of destination weddings, music festivals, and Instagram-worthy itineraries? So simply the fact that small short-term loans make big travel dreams instantly accessible. So is Gen Z spending smart, just Yolo-Ing? You'll get the phrase if you, of course, know what the phrase is. But to talk to us more about these numbers and overall, of course, looking at how this has changed, in a sense, traveling and funding as well, I'm given to understand Rhisabh Garg, Business Head, Unsecured Loans, Paisabazaar, is joining me on the show. Rhisabh, thank you very much for taking the time out and joining us this evening on ET Now, in fact, in India Tonight. Let me begin by asking you this, Rhisabh. quite striking, in fact, in terms of these numbers. Also getting into that aspect, for the first time, more Indians are borrowing for vacations than for home renovations. Whoever thought? Now, that's quite a cultural shift. In your opinion, what's really going on here?
I think two key things. One is that people are becoming more and more aspirational, and the ease of getting credit is improving further and further, and that's the reason why people are using credit wherever applicable. Now, travel versus home. I think travel is obviously becoming an aspirational thing for people to do, and post COVID, we thought that there was an demand which was kind of pent up, but the demand continues to be there, so people are planning to travel. Home renovation obviously is dropping down because the rates, the home loan rates and the loan against property rates have significantly come down, and hence that's why people are preferring to go for those secured loans versus taking a personal loan for that.
That's interesting that you point that out as well, and how we're looking at these numbers, because we also know for a fact that a 27% share for travel loans, that's about 1 in 4 personal loans now going towards these holidays. So is India, perhaps, like you said, the lifestyle aspect of it becoming more lifestyle focused, or is this a case of YOLO meets EMI?
Well, I would like to believe that this is more and more consumerism and aspirational nature of the Indian mindset that is taking over. Rest, I'm sure there would be some kind of YOLOing that would be kicking in, but let's focus on what is driving India forward.
All right, talking about also what's driving India forward and what's driving the boom among the 20-something. That's what we're looking at. In fact, if you could also draw focus on these percentage that we're looking at, about in 2 years, we're given to understand it's from 14% to 29%.
That is true. So more and more Gen Z and millennials are now taking personal loans and traveling using that. Again, the reason for that is higher awareness, and as soon as you start earning, you are becoming more and more aware about what are the options that you have from a credit perspective, and that's what is driving it. And the awareness is also being kind of catered by the supply. So you have enough supply, there is ease to apply for loans, and you're able to get loans very quickly, and that allows you to travel.
Tapping into that, since we're talking about this generation as well, are we seeing this as a way that's choosing experiences now and perhaps pushing financial planning to later?
I would not say that. I think it's important to have a balance in your life. So both financial planning and
True.
a little bit of travel and looking at the world can go hand in hand. And I think that is what the Indian consumer understands. We have been always forerunners, if I were to say, from a financial planning perspective, and I don't see that changing very soon.
To also be fair, Rhisabh, younger people today earn earlier. Not that I'm saying that the both of us are old, but they also have access to credit more easily, perhaps also value a life outside of work. Not a way to perhaps ask for work-life balance, but does it ever worry you that, travel, a traditionally luxury spend, is becoming a loan-funded habit? Is that the way we can also look at it, or not?
I would not think of it from that perspective, Nivedna. I think there are always different ways and means of funding any kind of need of yours. It could come via credit, or it could come without a credit. People buying mobile phones using credit just because it is easy to do so, and ensures that you have a better hold of your finances and your daily or monthly payouts. I think that if that is the ease that we don't look down upon, I don't think there is any reason we should look down upon planning for vacations using a loan.
Absolutely not. But are Gen Z borrowers showing strong repayment behavior? How would you look at that particular aspect?
I think the repayment behaviors are holding up. I don't think they vary basis the age of the customer, and the industry is maturing, and we have seen different cycles. the industry is only becoming much more stronger when it comes to repayment, and I don't see any challenge from that perspective.
Talking about challenges as well, perhaps if it's not this, from your prism, if you were to look at it, are there any?
Not really. I think I would have also liked to see more and more self-employed customers availing credit as and when required, depending on their needs. I think there is still much room from a availability perspective over there. The ease with which a salaried person can get a loan now, I think that is kind of slightly broken from a self-employed perspective, but the industry should be able to get there very soon.
When we're talking, Rhisabh, about Gen Z, right, most often than not, there's, certain perception. But we're talking about these young borrowers, in your opinion, I also see you smile. So, of course, they know what they're getting into, but they're also understanding of what they're signing up for when you're talking about the kind of amounts that we're looking at?
Absolutely, Praveen. I think the regulator has taken significant steps to ensure that there is full transparency and the consumer totally understands what they are getting into. And time and again, at different steps of the journey, you see that being reiterated when the consumer is going for a loan. So uh, I'm pretty sure that the consumer actually understands what he's getting into, and it's a very informed choice that they're taking up. And this survey kind of totally resonates with that, because when we are talking to people and trying to understand why are they taking credit and how are they taking credit, they are very well aware of why they are taking credit and what is the process and what kind of loans they have taken up. So I think that awareness is very well there, even though they are Gen Z and we tend to look at it from a different angle, but the awareness is pretty there.
Right, awareness is there. You're interestingly talking about what else that survey, has gone on to reflect. Rhisabh, anything else that really caught your eye in terms of what was reported in that?
Not really. I would have expected uh, that tier one cities would have been at the forefront, but I'm sure India is a big country, and tier two, tier three population is becoming more and more digital, and the access to credit is only increasing. So, not very surprised to see that, but I would still expect the tier one to be leading on this one. I think this shows that the aspirations or the need or the want to travel is there across India. It's not only limited to tier one, and that was what was surprising for me.
Only if you have enough holidays to meet with those travel aspirations, right, Rishabh? But given the aspect of there's also a spike we understand in smaller loans, 50K to about 3 lakh, and most borrowers are private salaried. Does that really reflect growing financial confidence, in your opinion? Which is great to see.
Absolutely, I think it totally reflects on growing financial confidence, and the person understands that what kind of loan I need, and if I don't need a very high ticket size loan, why should I take that? For smaller ticket size loan versus so practically for every need of yours, you have a separate loan category that is being offered, and that is what the consumer now understands and is able to tap into. The transparency is much higher, so you don't need to, even if you need, let's say, just 50,000 rupees of loan, why should you take a 5 lakh rupees loan? I think that transparency is being offered both from a product perspective and uh, the availability is there. So the customers can take exactly what they're looking for.
Absolutely, tapping into that. But from Paisa Bazaar's point of view, Rishabh, how do you balance enabling aspirations, of course, like we've been talking about, with, of course, ensuring responsible borrowing as well?
So, Navendra, that's a great point. We really invest a lot when it comes to ensuring responsible borrowing, because we do not want any consumer to end up taking a loan which he cannot repay. And we have several AI models that we deploy to ensure that these kind of things are taken care of.
All right, Rhisabh, and on that note, I want to thank you very much for taking the time out and joining us this evening and also putting into perspective what that's looking like. Here's hoping that more people can, of course, take vacations with due permission from their workplaces as well. But having said that, we leave the conversation at that, and that's all I have for you in this edition of India Tonight. But stay tuned, lots more coming up on the other side on ET Now as far as the top stories in business at 9 is concerned, so don't go anywhere.